A tieless Major Manukyan says, half-jokingly, that it's not the tie that makes a man handsome. He goes on to add that pilots don't wear a tie. You fly every day in spirit. Take me, for example. I fly planes even in my dreams. I always wish I were up in the air. It's a complicated but common phenomenon. The veteran pilot has dreamed of flying airplanes for as long as he remembers. Since his retirement, he has found it hard to resign himself to leaving his calling behind. Flying planes is a passion shared by his entire family. To us, being a pilot is not just a profession, but a way of life. At gatherings and parties, we argue about anything and everything that has to do with aviation. The senior Manukyan was the one who started it all. Today, the 91-year-old gives flying advice to his sons and grandsons. Even his great-grandsons are carrying the family torch. Boros Manukyan has flown 40,000 hours. We've got 8 pilots in the family, including my father, who was a civilian aircraft radio operator. Boros Manukyan's 2 sons became Air Force pilots. After being trained abroad, they returned to Armenia and began to patrol the homeland's aerial gates and flew missions in the Artsakh War. After the war, the Manukyan brothers have sometimes met in the air during training flights. We've flown planes at the same time during training sorties. It's so cool to hear your brother's voice while you're in the sky. The brothers went on to build families of their own. Ashot's brother married a pilot, and their son too became an airman. The Manukyans have broken the record in Armenia and elsewhere for having so many pilots in an extended family. Following in my father's footsteps, we all got into aviation schools, one after the other. First myself, then my brother, and then my sister's son. Now my son, my brother's son, yet another nephew, and his son are all pilots. Mikhail is the family's youngest pilot. He's been in aviation since 2003 and has flown for the past 6 years. He says each flight is unique, but the joy of flying is a constant. My goal has always been to take to the sky. They say it's easier for a pilot to breathe when he's up in the air. Of all the branches of the armed services, the Air Force is the one that requires the most skill and experience, with the lives of pilots and expensive equipment always at risk. It is an accepted truth that the pilot training starts with vigilance and prudence and ends with audacity and patriotism. You can't perform your job if you're not passionate about it. You need to understand why you're sitting in the cockpit, what your goal is. Every morning and evening, father, son, brother, and cousin go to the airbase to inspect their aircraft. They all know by experience that the wives of pilots are different. Every time I'm about to take off, my wife calls me instinctively. "Are you flying now?" she asks. All pilots' wives have a sixth sense when it comes to their husbands' flights. They just feel them somehow. At Ashot Manukyan's home, there's a long display of awards, certificates of honor, and prizes. In his 21 years of experience, Manukyan has received the Air Force's most prestigious accolades: the Garegi Nizhde Medal, the Admiral Isakov Medal, and the Impeccable Service Medal, some 15 years' worth of medals. The chain would not have been complete had Ashot Jr. not made a nod to the family's calling during his teething ceremony. Of the pieces of paper which are believed to indicate future career paths, the child picked the one that said space travel. For this family of officers, flying planes has long been their destiny, a call of blood, and a profession. They all know it's both a difficult and risky career. That's why, every time they take to the sky, they repeat the senior Manukyan's beloved adage: pilots don't die, they just fly and don't come back. Every night, Boros Manukyan ends the day with this thankful prayer: "Glory to God, the flock has returned home."